Welcome to this video about how to make a rack for holding your plants out of PVC pipe. This means it will weather very well. As you can see, I built this under my carport where it was nice and shady, although still hot. I pre-cut all of the PVC to the lengths that I wanted to use for both the length and the width of the shelf I was using. Those were then laid out very organized so that I had easy access to them as I was building each section. You notice the mallet hammer that I showed there. I used that for dry fitting. Here's a list of the materials that I used. You can cut those to the length that you may want to use for your particular shelf. As with any project using PVC, one of the key things to do is dry fit before you actually start gluing, which is what you saw in the very early parts of this video. So once I was ready to start the construction, I took the pieces and started using the PVC for the legs first, and I constructed the 4-leg post, and then I built on top of that and doing one layer at a time. Each layer pretty much looks like the layer below it, so that they're pretty much equal. Because I was using my carport area as a construction area, it was level, so I did not need to use my level very often to ensure that the shelf stayed in a level condition. It wasn't as important to me also because I knew that the ground where I would be putting this eventually, I could adjust the level as I needed to. So as you can see, I've taken the individual pieces for laying out the shelf frame, and I would dry fit those, then glue them together to make one particular rail at a time. Obviously, this is a bit more convenient if you're using 2 people, but very doable with only 1 individual. So as you can see, I started by creating the base frame and then just worked my way around the edge with the framing of the PVC components. One of the key things about working with PVC is it can be very flexible in terms of making adjustments quickly, so that once you put the glue, you do have a few seconds in order to move the PVC into the ultimate position you want before the glue shuts firm. This is one of the reasons why you want to dry fit things first, because once the glue is set, PVC certainly doesn't come apart very easily. So again, you can see I had the frame for the bottom built, and then I started moving around the edge and then putting the centerpieces in. One of the things I discovered was that doing a long rail at the end was probably not the most optimal way to do this, but it worked out just fine. You'll see as I'm putting the frame together for the additional 2 shelves above this, once I got the frame built on the long side of the rail, I would put the centerpiece in first because the PVC was flexible enough to allow me to bend it to get things into shape. You will also notice that I did not spend a lot of time with a level trying to get the T-connectors horizontally correct, because since I was working on a level environment, it was easy enough to eyeball, so to speak, and generally I was able to keep things perpendicular as required without any real effort. And again, you can see I'm just working my way around the frame, dry fit, and then glue as I go along. Again, you can see here that I started with the centerpiece on the second shelf, and then did the edges separately. You'll also notice that this is coming together pretty well from a level perspective, because when I cut the PVC pipe, I was careful to try and cut as straight a line as I could. If you have any experience cutting PVC pipe, if you're not careful with a hacksaw, the hacksaw blade tends to bend if you're cutting through pipe this thick, and you can wind up with a very curved cut, which is certainly not the optimal way of doing this. So you'll notice that each of the cuts that I made were made somewhat square, so that I did not have that curved in, so that when I was putting the shelf together, it stayed pretty level throughout the process. This shelving unit was very easy to put together. To do both shelving units, doing all the cutting of the PVC and construction. Took me a little bit less than a half day. It was very inexpensive to build. PVC pipe is not very expensive. The most expensive components of the shelf were the masonite pieces that I used for the actual shelf flooring. And the reason I used the masonite was because I knew it would weather very well. You will notice that I put two pieces of PVC pipe at a 45-degree angle. In the opening screenshot of the shelving unit, you saw that I had some landscape fabric that I used to put over this so that it gave the plants shade during the day without it having direct sun. One of the things I did once this was completed and I had both put together is I put a watering system in along the bottoms of each shelf so that the shelf below was watered using a mister on a timer, and that worked very, very well.